What's up? We're making bourbon soaked cherries today. It is one of my favorite drink garnishes. They are delicious in an old fashioned. They're delicious in a adult cherry limeade. They are awesome just to pop and snack on their own. It's simple ingredients. You probably have close to everything. Go ahead, babe. Okay. Let's put dishes away as we do this. Lots of multitasking happening. You're gonna probably have almost everything to make these in your house, perhaps with the exception of cinnamon stick. Is the one thing I typically have to always make sure I have on hand because it's not an everyday staple for me in the house. But outside of that, you're gonna need honey, water, a little bit of vanilla, and one cinnamon stick, and that's it, an orange peel. Okay, that's the base of it. And then we're gonna cook that, simmer it down for about 10 minutes, and then we will add, I take it off the heat and I add the bourbon to it afterwards, which is 1 cup of bourbon or whiskey, whatever your preference is going to be. You can, I'm gonna do a half a cup of honey to a half cup of water in this one. You can do up to a cup of honey, depending on how sweet you want them. The cherries I am using are actually the frozen cherries because the cherries aren't quite in season just yet, but they're frozen, they work just as great. So we're going to use sweet pitted frozen cherries, and that's it. So here we go. Just over medium heat, I'm going to add my honey, which, by the way, I poured into a glass jar like this, and I do a little quick spray of cooking spray in there so that the honey slides right out and you don't have to do a ton to get it out of the cup. I'll still scrape it out just a touch, but anyways, it usually works out pretty slick to be able to get it all out in one nice fluid stream. All right, so that'll start, and then I'll add in just another half a cup of water. Okay, and it's a teaspoon of honey, or a teaspoon of vanilla, and I just typically eyeball that. You can definitely measure it out if you want to. Okay, now I get this going. I'm gonna add 1 cinnamon stick, maybe. Just 1. And I took the peel off the orange already, so I'll pop that in. Now all of this is gonna just meld together. The honey is already dissolving into the water, and I'm just gonna let this simmer for around 10 minutes. It's gonna get a little bit syrupy, and then I will add in the bourbon afterwards, and then we will soak the cherries and be good to go. So I'll show you that stuff here in a second. Okay, after 10 minutes of simmering, all you need to do is just fish out your orange peel and your cinnamon stick. Okay, and I've also turned off the heat because it is perfectly simmered down and reduced just a touch. Now what I have next, you can either do 1 cup of bourbon, whiskey. I did 3/4 of a cup of bourbon and a roughly 1/4 cup of amaretto. I'm just gonna mix it up a little bit this time compared to what I normally do, which is just straight bourbon. I'm using bullet bourbon, and then Di Serrano is the amaretto that we use. So that's it. I'm gonna mix this up, and then all that's left to do is to take the mixture and pour it over the cherries. Okay, that's all there is to it, you guys. I will let the pint glasses sit on the counter until everything comes to room temperature. The beautiful part about doing frozen cherries is that they are gonna cool down super fast, even though the temperature of the liquid was obviously pretty warm. And that's it. Just let them mellow out on the counter for a little bit, then pop the lids on, pop them in the fridge. They're gonna last roughly a month in the fridge before they get a little bit too mushy and like too drunk to actually enjoy the flavor of them. So with that, if they do last more than a month in the house, I will be a little bit shocked. But That's all there is to it. A great garnish for any cocktail. I hope you guys enjoy.